Hey, good people, this is Alana Tyson, and you're watching SnazzyTV's Before They Get Famous. If you're new to the show, welcome, and if you're coming back, then welcome back. For those of you who are coming back, I know you will notice that my setup is a little bit different. There's a reason for that. Today's show is actually going to be a little bit different as well, a lot shorter, and I don't have a guest today. But I do have someone that I'm kind of featuring. I want to kind of shine a spotlight on this individual, and the story to me was just so rich. I wanted to really talk about it before doing the whole back and forth with trying to schedule an interview, because oftentimes that is really time consuming, trying to get folks schedules to match up with mine and all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably be doing a lot more of these, and just, as I come across influencers or people that I find to be really interesting, and I'm just really so excited to share their story, that I'm just going to jump on and do this. And, if you want to see this individual, if you want to see a one-on-one with me and some of these folks that I'm going to feature this way, then just comment below, and I'll try and reach out to them and try to do a one-on-one with them. So the influencer that I'm going to be talking about today is a gentleman by the name of Ron Griswell. And I'm going to make sure I put all his contact information below. But Ron Griswell, he is a self-proclaimed outdoorist, an adventurist, outdoor enthusiast. He's also the CEO and founder of a nonprofit called HBCUs Outside. Okay, that's at HBCUs Outside. And I came across this Griswell very organically. So, you know how oftentimes you're going through your emails and you get like a lot of spam and whatnot, and you subscribe to a bunch of different things that you don't really follow anymore? Well, I got one of those types of emails from a company that I ordered something from like years ago. It was an outdoor company called Backcountry. And go check them out. They're kind of like an REI. And so they sell all kind of outdoorsy kind of stuff for folks who are adventurous and outdoors. So anything that you can imagine, like hiking, boots, ski gear, all that kind of stuff. And I ski, so I definitely do consider myself well, I don't know if I'm an outdoorist necessarily, but I definitely do ski. But in any case, back to Ron. So as I was getting ready to unsubscribe, because I don't need to necessarily be on their chain of emails and kind of thing, I looked at the email that they sent me, and it had a feature of this gentleman, Ron Griswell. And so I go in and start reading a little bit more, and Ron Griswell created this company called HBCUs Outside. And this was the reason they were featuring him, was because he is a part of their initiative called Breaking Trail Initiative. Make sure I get that right. So Backcountry is doing something called Breaking Trail Initiative, which is where they are partnering with advocates that don't look like the typical outdoorist. So people that are, gender diverse, or age diverse, or just anything outside of the normal majority white person that you would see doing these outdoorsy things. Like, you don't necessarily see people of color, Latinos or Afro-Latinos, or Black people in that space of outdoorism necessarily. Now, that's not to say that the people of those diverse characters don't do that kind of thing, but it's not the norm, or it's not what you see to be the norm. So in any case, Backcountry has started this initiative towards a more inclusive company, a more inclusive marketing campaigns. And so they featured this Ron Griswell on their website as partnering with him, advocating with him, and trying to move his initiative forward. And so I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really awesome. I actually did reach out to Backcountry and sent them just an email telling them that I thought it was really interesting and very forward leaning of them to do this, because you have a lot of companies that throw up a one-liner, Black Lives Matter, and then you dig deeper into the layers and you realize they're not really doing much of anything to really make a change in their organization or in the world as it relates to inclusivity. And so Backcountry is trying to do that with partnering with people like Griswell. So all of that said, Griswell has this organization called HBCUs Outside. And it made me think, and so I started digging a little bit more and learning more about him and his organization. And I just thought it was really cool and interesting. So I'm going to just kind of throw a couple questions out there and talk a little bit about what Ron's, I guess, mission is. And so I did not go to an HBCU. I went to Brooklyn College. Brooklyn College for my undergrad, and I went to University of Maryland for my grad school. So I did not have the HBCU experience. I knew quite a few folks who did, but this was actually something that I never really thought about. And so according to Ron, who is an alum of North Carolina A&T, which is one of the largest HBCUs in the country. And according to him, when he has always considered himself to be an outdoorist and an adventurist and loved doing those outdoorsy camping and anything outdoorsy. But he said he lost some of that during his time at North Carolina A&T. And one, I thought that was kind of sad. And I also thought that it was just something I never really thought about. And I wondered, and I'm hoping that folks will comment and kind of maybe get this conversation started. If you have been to an HBCU or you know folks who have, is that truly what the experience is like? Like there are like no outdoor clubs or outdoor kind of events or things of that nature. So Griswell's nonprofit supports outdoor clubs and leaders at historically Black colleges. And I'm sure if you go and check out his websites and Instagram and all that, you'll find what some of that support is. And I would imagine it's, advocacy, partnering, maybe some funding, maybe just speaking events to, encourage more outdoor events and activities, and to just really change that narrative. Again, I didn't go to an HBCU. I grew up in New York City. So camping and that kind of thing was never really organic to me, but I think that was based on, my environment, not necessarily because I didn't like to do it. As I've grown as an adult, I definitely do like to get outdoors. I love camping. I love lazy river, that kind of thing. Companies like Tiva and REI, and it's true, you don't often see people that look like me on those websites or being used to market and promote. And then maybe once in a while you do, but it's definitely not the norm. So in any case, I thought that Ron Griswell's mission and, this plan to, get HBCUs outside was really cool. I'm going to enjoy following his journey. I'm going to make sure I put all of his information and everything in the box, and feel free to comment. But I really would love to hear what other people's experiences are. Again, if you've gone to an HBCU or people who have, if you in those circles, comment and let's have that conversation. I would love to hear what people are talking about. Like, again, it's just something that I never considered in that arena of HBCUs. I never really thought that those institutions don't promote or advocate getting outdoors. And that's not to say all of them are that way. But as I do a little bit more research, I'm going to go and poke around and see okay, what are the programs, that are at a lot of these institutions? Because in Ron said something in his interview where he said, if you don't see yourself in those spaces, you just won't be in those spaces. And so I believe there is a bit of truth to that. And so, my last question is, if you are a person of color, you know, Asian or African American or Caribbean or Afro Latina, you know, do you see yourself outside? That's the question that Ron asked. You know, do you see yourself outside? And that is a bit of a loaded question. And so just something for folks to think about on this weekend as you move around and going through your Instagram and, you know, making your plans for the weekend or for the summer. You know, do you see yourself outside? And if not, why? Right? Like, are you, because some people are just not outdoorsy people, and that's fine too, you know, but do you not see yourself, you know, do you see yourself outside? And if not, is it because you just don't see yourself in that space or fitting into that space? And, you know, if that's the case, then, you know, how do you change that? And, you know, how do you break down those barriers of entry? And I think, you know, the HBCUs outside is a great starter to one, have that conversation, and two, to get some of the HBCUs on board with creating programs that promote outdoorsy activities or adventurism, so to speak. Thanks for watching. I'll make sure I, again, put all of Ron Griswell's information and contact and stuff so you can follow him as well. Shout out to Backcountry for, you know, featuring Ron and, you know, basically starting that conversation. So, anywho, folks, have a great weekend. Until next time, this is Before They Get Famous. All right, ciao.